Welcome to the War on Wellness. Today's topic is a hot one. Today, we are talking about the relationship between our health and our relationships. So, I want to welcome all those who are coming into the room over on Instagram. Yay, I'm glad to see that is working this week. And welcome those who are coming over on Facebook. Wonderful. I see my Facebook page is in the house, and I need to make sure that my Facebook group is here as well because everybody needs to hear this topic today. Today, we are going to talk about it. It is May, and May is Mental Health Awareness Month. It's Mental Health Awareness Month, but guess what? We need to be aware of our mental health every day and every month, not just these months. And so I'm going to welcome you in. I need to make sure, I'm out here in Timbuktu in the country. And so we want to make sure that everybody is in the room. Our Facebook group and our Facebook page. Facebook group is coming. They're not here yet, but I do want to welcome those that I do see coming in the room. I see Tammy. I see Trella. I see Agnes. Hey. I see Edith. I see some of my former clients are coming in the room. Yes, very good. Thank you all for being here. We're talking about the impact on relationships with our health. And that is a topic that we can all benefit from. All of us can benefit from that topic today. And so I am Penny. I'm your host for the War on Wellness, and we are here every Wednesday at 6 p.m. for the War on Wellness, and we talk about different topics that can help you move from problems to progress, usually with plant-based solutions and natural remedies. And because it is holistic health that we're talking about, I want to broaden and expand into our mental wellness. And that is because it is really important to us, because we can't be healthy if we're not mentally well. And why is that? Because there's a quote that I like to say, and that quote is that stress will kill you before a good diet will save you. Stress will kill you before a good diet will save you. And that is so true. You can eat all the kale salads that you want in the world. You can exercise and you can run your marathons and you can do all of the push-ups and all of the many remedies that there are for health. You can drink your smoothie every day like I do. But if you are not taking care of your mental wellness, then that becomes an issue. And so I want to make sure that we are aware and that we have all the tools, tips, and strategies so that we can be our best selves and we can show up in the way that God intended us to show up. Because I'm telling you, this is not an easy world that we're in. And so I'm going to come back right after this message, and we're going to delve into the topic of the impact of relationships and our health. So, welcome back. Thank you for coming back. Today, we're talking about the impact of relationships and our health, and particularly, we are talking about the impact of it on our mental health, so our mental wellness, because it's important to know that just because we consider ourselves healthy on the outside, we might be beautiful and shiny like all of those celebrities and people who went to the Met Gala, and we might look good when we go to church and we are matching from head to toe, but it is necessary that we actually address the whole being. And in doing so, we want to make sure that we are doing all that we can to look, live, and to feel well. So, hello to all those who are coming in the room. Thank you for joining this evening. It was hot outside today, and we have a hot topic for us to discuss. So let's get right to it. So we're talking about. Well, let me ask you this question first. Do you believe that people can make you sick? That is the question. Just in the chat, respond if you believe that people can make you sick. You can put a yes or a no, or put whatever you think whatever your thought is. Can people make you sick? Sorry, something in my eye. So today we're going to delve into the connection between stress and inflammation. And so there is a study that was done by the National Institute of Health. And sometimes since I am holistic, and I am also geeky, I do research and I delve into the scientific world, and also I take my experiences from living and traveling on 7 continents and let's see, 3 continents and 7 countries, and God's remedies, grandma's knowledge, and my experiences with working with different clients holistically and in different retreat centers, all of that global knowledge, and I put that together to help you look, live, and feel well. So there's a study, and it says that both the acute and chronic. Today I'm having a problem with my tongue. What is this? Okay, let's try that again. Acute and chronic stressors, they can heighten our inflammation levels in our bodies. So what is an acute stressor? So that's going to be a temporary stressor. That's something like you hit your hand with a hammer, or I was out gardening today, and there were very wasps that were very interested in me. That gave me a little bit of stress, but I learned to get along with them. Sometimes the other day I lost my keys. I couldn't find my keys. I had an appointment. I couldn't get out of the house. Has anybody else lost their keys? Couldn't find my keys. That's a temporary situation or temporary event. That's an acute stressor. A chronic stressor is an ongoing situation, and that's like a demanding job that I had when I was vice president for a global bank, managing our processes in the state of Virginia. Demanding jobs or relationships that might be negative relationships that people have. So those are ongoing situations, and so that's called a chronic stress. And so either one of those can increase the inflammatory markers in our bodies. But what happens is when we have the chronic stress for a long term, even if it's low level, even if it's microaggressions, even if it's somebody who you are around and they are picking on you, whatever it is, it might be bullying. those those continued stressors in our lives, those actually affect our inflammatory responses. And so those are negative. And supportive relationships can act as a buffer against the stress, which is great, and that promotes coping mechanisms. And that supportive relationships, whether that relationship is with your significant other, or that relationship is with a parent that you take care of, or whatever it might be. It may be a relationship in your job. Maybe you have a really great boss. Yeah, I've had some good bosses. I've had some not so good bosses too. And I was actually just having this conversation today, and it was that where someone was sharing with me how a 1 hour meeting turned into a 2 hour meeting, and they were just really stressed out about this. And I was letting them know, it's a young person, that this is something that you can actually learn from. And when you become the manager, how what you would not do, or how you would do things better if you were the facilitator of that meeting. So we can even learn something from negative situations. So supportive relationships can buffer against stress. And however, troubled relationships, they can exasperate the physiological stresses and impact our health negatively, short and long term. And so let me know in the comments if you've had any good long-term relationships or bad long-term relationships. So let me know if you had a boss and it was good, if you had a significant other, an SO, and it was good, or it was bad. Either way, which way was it? Because we experience so many different paradigms as we go through life, because we go from one chapter to the next chapter. It's like an entirely different world for us. And so for me, I know that there have been situations in my life where guys told me to do one thing and I've done something entirely different. I am just going to be transparent with you. There's some decisions that I've made, some choices that I've made that I probably should not have, and they led down a path of stress. They led down a path of illness, physically and emotionally, not being able to cope very well because I was on the wrong path. Thank the Lord for deliverance and right sizing my efforts. But we all make mistakes. But there are some relationships that we can make determinations to get out of. And those are never easy decisions. They're never easy decisions. And so I'm curious with you, what do you do when you want to exit a negative relationship? And we're talking about jobs, we're talking about friendships, the girls that you hang around with, the guys you hang around with. We're talking about love relationships, whatever. When I say relationship, I mean all types of relationships that you can think of. So, what is a good tip that you have? Because I don't say that I know everything. I am very curious to know what has worked for you in the past. And so you can just say what it is and how it worked for you concisely. And I'm happy to share those with our listeners and with our viewers. So we want to have supportive relationships as much as possible. And then there is the parent child relationship. Now, this is something I found really interesting And I kind of had a little experience with this as well. I'm a bonus mom for two sons, and I've had the opportunity actually to also partially raise another young person in my home. So the parent child relationship also plays a crucial role because a stressed parent may struggle to provide adequate support for the child, and that can lead to increased inflammation in the children. And and one thing that I did find out was that a child, there's something called the attachment syndrome, and if a child does not feel like they have an attachment or safe, secure attachment when they're young, then that can spill over into adulthood. And a lot of times, as adults, they become depressed or they show signs of depression as adults because there was an attachment issue when they were young. And so we want to really be mindful with providing a nurturing environment and love and care for our young people as they're growing up. So that's very, very important. And so I'm volunteering right now with an organization called the Pathfinders. And the Pathfinders, it works with young people under the age of 18. And so it provides a supportive relationship for these young people. So I shout out to everybody who was put Pathfinder in the chat if you've ever been a Pathfinder. And that's for those of you who may not know, it's a unisex group, and it's kind of similar to the boys and girls, to the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, but it is unisex. So it's a great opportunity for me to stretch myself and camping skills, survival skills, and just another opportunity for me to learn even more about myself. So I want to say shout out also. I won't call her by name because she didn't give me permission, but to the young lady to who had to end up coming to live with me because her mother was unable to care for her, or 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 decided not to care for her anymore. She was successful and coming to stay with me and coming to live with me, and we had a ball. And we also had some growing opportunities in our life, and we stressed each other out through the process. But we were able to get to the goal, and that was to get her through her education and to graduate from high school. And now she's working at a bank. So I, I love you very much, and I am very happy that that was the case. So I'm going to go back to my script now because that's a very sensitive topic for me because it's very important that we actually give. And a lot of times when we're called to give, we we don't know exactly what that would be, and it's not always monetarily. Sometimes it's giving of your soul, your time, and your energy. So wherever we give our time, our talent, our treasury, we want to move with God so that the blessings can be multiplied in that process and we can become a blessing to someone else. So, our relationships, the impact of relationships and our health, it is intricately connected, the two. As we age, in the aging process, chronic stress can intensify inflammation. So, chronic stress can intensify inflammation and accelerate cellular aging and heighten the risk of disease. So there's a lot in that. So chronic stress can intensify inflammation, accelerate cellular aging. So that is aging on a cellular level. That means our cells are dying off before their time. And that can lead to disease because we need healthy cells in order to live and to live well. And it also heightens the risk of disease. And not only the cellular level, not only are we dying on the cellular level, but we are aging internally and externally. So heightened stress, the relationships that we're in, the increased inflammation that's intensified, all that leads to us looking older than we are. How many of us want to look older? Huh? How many? Not unless you're like 15, maybe, or 12. People in that age group, they might want to look older, but most of us are not trying to look older. Now, there is nothing wrong with aging. There is nothing wrong with age. I mean, I'm 60 years old. I will be 61 in 4 months. So, in less than 6 months, I'll be 61 years old. There is nothing wrong with aging. I am happy to tell you what my age is. But there is something wrong with and it's not about looks, but the easiest way to say it is looking older before your time to looking worn and drained because we have made choices in our lives to be around people that are going to just suck the energy out of us. And so we have to be really, really cognizant of the connections that we make with people because people will either boost your energy or they will drain your energy. So monitor your connections because they may not always be for your best interest. And I'm just going to say this for any young person, or they actually don't even have to be young. They can be young or old. If you are in a relationship with a significant other, whoever it might be, and I've done this is how I know that it works. If you're in a relationship with a person and you're not sure whether or not this is what you should be doing or you want some clarity, stop. If you're having it, stop having sex with them. She said that. Oh my goodness. No, she did that. Yes, she did. Yeah. I was actually in a relationship uh, with the guy for a long time, and we thought that we were going to get married and all this stuff. And so we actually, we actually went to counseling, all that stuff. Anyway, long story short was we stopped having intimate relationships, and then it became so clear that even though we were in love with each other, that we were not meant for each other. Okay, just because you love somebody doesn't mean that you are a good match for the rest of your life. It doesn't. I want to say hey to Henrietta, hey to Teresa, hey to Belinda, Francis, and hey to Judy. Good to see all of you here as well. Wonderful. So yeah, I mean, I'm just being transparent and let you know that that is the God's honest truth. Sometimes you have to let go of some things that you think that you might need when you don't necessarily need them, and also allow God to work in your life so that you can have the clarity that you need when it comes to all of the different types of relationships that you can have. So the chronic inflammation that we have from negative relationships, it increases our cells dying on the inside, dying prematurely, or becoming malformed, and the free radicals in our bodies. Free radicals can lead to oxidation of our cells, and all of that is happening. That can lead to cancers. well, which I'm going to get to that list here right now. So, in light of all these age related effects that can happen to us, and as an older adult, troubled relationships, they're particularly problematic because we become even more sensitive to external occurrences as we age, as far as our physiological being. So those who have chronically elevated inflammation are at greater risk for cancers, cardiovascular disease, which is the heart diseases or the high blood pressures or the AFibs, all of those different types of cardiovascular diseases. Type 2 diabetes, osteoporosis, which is a bone disease. You see people, they end up unable to have the support of their bone, their skeletal bone structure, because of osteoporosis. Periodontal disease. So periodontal disease, that's going to be the disease in your mouth, your gums, your teeth, all of that, which that's also a precursor for other diseases because the bacteria in your mouth can travel to your bloodstream and go to other parts. So that's why it's important to have healthy dental care as well. And rheumatoid arthritis. So all of those, we're at higher risk if we have people in our lives or relationships, whether relationships at work or their personal relationships. We want to foster positive, good relationships, not just because it's a good thing to do, but because it actually affects us on so many different levels. So here is the bottom line. Chronically elevated inflammation levels increases the risk of various diseases. So those diseases I just mentioned. So close relationships not only offer the emotional support, but they also influence our physical health, which is a great thing. Close, positive relationships, they offer the emotional support that we need, and they're going to help us in the long run physically as well. And they foster positive connections, and they can dampen that inflammation, that chronic inflammation that we may experience, promoting overall well being. And it's just so very important that we make sure that we are cognizant of it, that we are aware of the fact that what we do, the choices that we make. Since I was in banking for for many years, decades, and I would teach people that the choices that they make financially. Hey Ariana, hey Joanna, hey Tabitha, the choices that you make today will affect the choices that you have tomorrow. So, in a banking sense, when you're trying to build wealth, then you're building assets, and your assets are your wealth. And the plant-based penny sense, we are building our health, and our health is our wealth. And so we're taking care of our health as far as the relationships that we're involved in, as far as the people that are around us, as far as the jobs that we choose, because we got to be around those people a lot of time during the day. Uh, the relationships that we have in our personal lives, whatever our love interest is, and that love can be, it doesn't have to be intimate love. It can just be love for family, friends, whatever it is. Those relationships, they all matter, and they all go into the bucket when we are talking about our holistic health. So let's see, what does the Bible say about relationships with people. So let's draw a little inspiration from these Bible texts. So Ecclesiastes 4, 9 through 10 says that two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. If either one of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity the one who falls, and there is no one to help him up. So that one is saying that you know, two people can work together on whatever the task even better than one person can. And if one person falls down and they can't get up, and let's just think about it outside of necessarily a labor, but if your brother or your sister falls down and you can pick them up, that's a good thing. If they fall down and no one's there to encourage them to pick them up, we fall down, we get up. If there is no one there to pick them up, then the Bible says that pity the one that happens to. Now, David said, I had to encourage myself. So sometimes you might have to be like David and encourage yourself if there is no one else there to encourage you. So remember that as well. You can also encourage yourself. Don't necessarily have a pity party just because things go wrong, because guess what? They will go wrong. This is life here on this earth. Also, Proverbs 17:17 says, reminds us that a friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for the time of adversity. So a friend is somebody who's going to be there for you. There's no friend closer than Jesus. But a friend is somebody that you can depend on. And a brother is born for a time of adversity. That's somebody that you call. You don't call everybody your brother. You don't. Everybody is not your in your close circle. You should have a nice tight circle of friends. Not everybody can't be your friend. You gotta bring it in, and have a close, positive circle of friends. And don't be the smartest person in your circle of friends. Your friends need to be doing things that make you go, "Wow, that's really great," and that they inspire you to do even better. And so that person is there for you in times of adversity. When things go wrong, that person is going to be there and support you. So these verses underscore the importance of supportive relationships in our lives, and not just for our emotional well-being, but for our physical well-being as well. Because there is a relationship, a correlation between our relationships and our health. They are combined. There is an intersectionality between those two because they are intertwined. So thank you. I really appreciate you for joining me. For May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we talked about our relationship between the people that we're around, their impact on our health. So I really appreciate it. Remember to nurture those positive relationships. They're going to be essential for a healthier life. And I do look forward to seeing you on next Wednesday for the War on Wellness. This is Penny, your host. I'm here every Wednesday at 6 o'clock p.m. You can reach me with my email at life@plantbasedpennylife.com, or you can reach me on my website at plantbasedpennylife.com. And of course, you're always welcome to join my Facebook group on Plant Based Penny Life. And jump on over to YouTube and subscribe to my channel. So until next time, family, thank you for joining me, and we will see you next Wednesday.